Welcome back to another review. I thought I'd have a look at something a bit different today. It's the Housmile Vacuum Robot Cleaner. This was sent in via Poweradd for a review. So we're going to go through just the box contents first, just to show you what you get included. Some of the specs here. You can see you get the items included, which I will show you later on, such as the screws, side brushes as well. And we look at the back here to give you an idea of the way that it operates. This works off of a pattern system. You have two modes. You have a small room and a big room mode. So it's worth paying attention to this, apart from the run times, which are shorter and longer respectively. You see the pattern on the big room mode is much more simple, but the smaller one has many more turns. Now this uses a bump sensor on the front rather than infrared sensor or anything like that. So it's using that sensor to detect when it touches something, and it has a foam padding all the way around, so it's not going to do any damage to paintwork or any other surfaces like that. It's quite important. Now when you're looking at the top of the cleaner, you'll see there's a cutout section here, so you just flip off the top cover. You have two lugs which help retain it at the top, and there's your dust box inside. So we take that out. I've been testing this for about 10 days. You can see some of the dust in there, and that's pretty much the simple design that we have. Very easy to get to. Open up the top cover and there's your filter. See quite a bit of dust in there, and hairs particularly, so you can just empty that out and brush off the filter. So I'll show you with that emptied out, and you can see there is a flap there, a transparent plastic flap, which tries to help keep some of the dust in. So it's important to empty this out quite regularly, perhaps once per room, but quite often, otherwise it will overload the small compartment. So it's not huge capacity, but I found it working fairly well. Quick look at the back. We can see the ventilation slots, and we also have an input for the power adapter. This part you can just pull off, just slides out, and that is where your lithium battery is. You want to give this a charge when you first get it. These are two 18650 cells that are wrapped together, and you have a plug here which can't be inserted the wrong way, so you can see the groove there. So insert that, give that a charge. So it's easy to get to the battery if you ever need to replace that after a period of time. You also get a spare filter and the screwdriver and the 4 screws as well, and these are the brushes. They come out of the box like this, the 4 of them, so you have to put 2 on to the cleaner. And this is just a quick look at the power adapter. User manual is pretty good. There are a few translation errors and some questionable English, but it does get the job done. It covers pretty much all you need to know, including the operation and a frequently asked questions fault finding section. Didn't really have to refer to this myself. So this is just how you put the brushes on. Just screw them in place. Quite a deep thread on them, so you won't really have any problems. You can feel when it's pretty much got down to the maximum. And look at the wheels. These have a rubber coating, so it gives them a bit of grip. Also have some suspension as well. Now this part goes up and down depending on the surface that you are using the cleaner on. So obviously on a flat surface that will fall down, but on a higher carpet it will move up. That was just a quick demonstration on the sound. It's actually pretty quiet compared to a full-size Hoover, so you could use it late at night. It's not going to annoy people, and you have that audible warning when the battery is low, so you don't have to be in the room. About 3.5 hours just over for a charge, and on average I was getting about 1 hour and 40 minutes, slightly longer than the manual stated for the run times. So I'm charging it about every other day at the minute. This is a test just on the anti-fall feature, and I didn't have any problems with that. And it also does a nice job working away around the corners and edges. That was something which perhaps I wasn't expecting to be as good at. And there are going to be some limitations with this, particularly compared to a larger vacuum cleaner. I found that it can get itself out of most tricky situations. It will keep rotating around. Sometimes it will reverse back directly if it gets stuck. So I haven't had any problems, apart from one time where it did lift up a mat which doesn't have an anti-slip backing in the bathroom. So I suggest that you shut the door on rooms when you want to clean them. That way it won't wander off out and attempt to clean a hallway or another room. As far as the cleaning performance goes, for short to medium pile carpet, it works well. It picks up most dirt, although sometimes it needs to run a few times over that in order to pick up all of the dirt. If its surfaces, mats and such, are a bit over a centimetre, it will probably go round them, but for most mats it will go up them quite fine, no problems at all. But with high pile carpet like this, it doesn't do as good a job cleaning because the dirt and debris tends to get embedded into the fibres, so really you'd need a turbo brush. I mean, I've got cats, so in the kitchen and hard surfaces and normal carpets it actually works quite well. It's certainly not using the normal Hoover or vacuum cleaner as much as I was, so maybe once a week, whereas I was using it every day in the kitchen or every other day for other areas in the house. So it is worthwhile. I think there's some limitations. It is a budget model. You don't get the charging dock where some of them go back. You don't have any advanced features such as apps or anything like that. So this is a basic budget model, but it does quite a good job at cleaning. I certainly find it quite useful. I would have liked to have had maybe that spot cleaning mode. This doesn't have one. It's on their website and on the product description, but there isn't a spot cleaning mode that I can see. But in other areas it's quite a nice little Hoover. I think it's quite a good product, possibly a few areas to improve, but something which I think is worthwhile having. So if you've got one of these, let me know what you think, and I'll catch up with you in the next one.